All right, welcome back to our course on processing. So we left off and we had these two methods, a void setup method. Again, I had to pass in curly braces. You will notice a really nice feature that if I highlight one of the curly braces, it highlights the other. And that again is the start and the end of this particular method. Now all I've got right now is the size of the actual screen that I'll be, the sketch pad essentially, that I'll be writing to, drawing to. And then my second method, my void draw method. And right now I've got a background fill in here. We'll remember that 0 is the grayscale that gives me black. And then I've got a fill function. This will fill in this following shape with 255 for red, 0 for green, and 0 for blue, so a very red color. And currently I've got mouse X and mouse Y as my X and Y coordinates, and 200 as my width and 100 as my height. Just as a reminder what that's going to look like, it gives me this particular rectangle that I can move around with my cursor, again, because the X and Y coordinates are my mouse, based off my mouse. I'm going to change this up a little bit. So we're actually going to drop the background back up into the setup. Now, again, what that will do is that'll run background only once. So I'll have a black background, but it won't clear my other things that happen in draw as I go through. I'm also going to change this to an ellipse. An ellipse, of course, is an oval, and I can come and I check that out in reference. And if I click through there, you will see that I get this description of an ellipse, an oval. Obviously, if they have equal height and width, it's a circle. And by default, the first two parameters set the location, third are the width and the height. So I'll come back over here. Again, this is just going to give me a similar type of thing as I saw here with a rectangle, but now I've got this ellipse and I've got it, I still have it set to 200, 100, so it's sort of a little bit snake-like there. But I'm going to do something a little bit different again. I'm going to pass in mouse X and mouse Y here, and we can sort of think about what this is going to look like because, okay, this mouse X and this mouse Y are my X and Y coordinates. But now my width is going to be based off of my location of my mouse, and my height is also going to be based off of the location of the mouse. So now when I come back in and run this sketch, you'll see that as I move into different areas of the screen, the shape is very different. So it gets smaller and smaller up over here. That means my X and Y are both approaching 0. So I now know that this corner must be 0, 0 in my plane. And as I move this direction, the X and Y are both getting larger until I come off the edge of the screen. Okay, that's helpful, and that's actually some interesting shapes that I can get there. But now I know that. Now I can say to myself, well, what if I actually set the X and the Y? Let's, again, shoot for the middle of the screen. So if I look at the size, I could say 400, 300, but processing, again, knows its own width and height. So I'm going to say width divided by 2. I want to put it right in the middle. And instead of mouse Y here, I'm going to say height divided by 2. Now when I run this, something really interesting is going to happen. Oh, interesting. Now I have this interesting shape that sort of can look a little bit like an eye if I come in close, but you can see that my X and Y coordinates are set right in the middle, so that's not changing. But the height and the width of my circle, again, are changing depending on where I move my mouse. So now I can do something like that, come way over into the middle, and I get like a little eyeball almost. So this again allows me to create some interesting shapes and patterns in the background if I so choose. If I want to go over this way, I can get that shape, and then I can get that shape, and then come over here. So this is another fun way to play around with what that type of function call is going to give me. I've got the ellipse now. I could change some of the color schemes and run it that way. And now I can see that I've got this, I've changed the blue, and so now I've got some sort of purple here. And again, same type of idea where the width and height The x and y coordinates are based off of just the size. So those are going to stay static. And now the height and width of the ellipse in this case are going to be dynamic. All right, that's lesson 2 in processing.